I got into the industry because, to be honest, I wasn't smart enough to get any other job, right? And I joke about that all the time. And then I just stumbled upon real estate because I heard somewhere that you can make unlimited money, and if I can speak and talk, I can do deals. Boy, was I wrong, because it was a lot more than that. And then through selling, I was able to earn, good money. And then from there, just constantly invest in myself, invest in different businesses. And today we have over 8 companies under management that I personally own.
Want to attract and convert more leads? Want to learn how digital PR, branding, and SEO can establish and build your brand identity? Welcome to the Market Movers Building Brands and Links with Linkify podcast. We answer these questions and help you ramp up your brand visibility and credibility. Let's cut through the noise and make your business the talk of the town. We're your hosts, Nick and Chris. Let's get this show on the road.
Welcome to the Market Movers podcast. Today, I am really excited to be joined by Brian Tran, founder of 50 Hills Real Estate in San Francisco and the VA Hub PH. Brian is a top producing agent turned multi-business operator who has flipped luxury homes, scaled a national rental portfolio, and built 2 brands known for transparency, culture, and operational discipline. If you care about finding great deals, building trust through content, and turning systems into scale, then this episode is for you. Welcome to the show, Brian.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Chris. I'm glad to be on the show.
Yeah, we've just had some minor off-air technical issues, which you wouldn't have known about if I hadn't have mentioned it, but it's all going good now. Brian, would you introduce yourself? Let me know how you got into real estate and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, my name is Brian Tran. I'm born and raised right here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I got into the industry because, to be honest, I wasn't smart enough to get any other job, right? And I joke about that all the time because my families, they all went to the greatest schools, and they, some are doctors, some are lawyers. And then here I am, right? This black sheep that just knew that he was going to make it, just didn't know how or where. And then I just stumbled upon real estate because I heard somewhere that you can make unlimited money, and if I can speak and talk, I can do deals. Boy, was I wrong, because it was a lot more than that. And, I don't regret a single decision, but what it allowed me to do was learn a skill, a very good skill, which is selling. And then through selling, I was able to earn, good money. And then from there, just constantly invest in myself, invest in different businesses. And today, we have over 8 companies under management that I personally own. And, I can share about how we do it, because I can bet you and give you guys a little hint that I'm not the one doing everything right now. And that's the secret. But I have a great team, great trust, and I don't micromanage. And that's a little bit about who I am.
Okay, that's awesome. Right, you mentioned team. So you've said that you would rather take a small, hungry, and aligned team over a big one with no direction. So what does that look like in practice? Let's start with 50 Hills. So it's your main company, 50 Hills Real Estate Brokerage. Talk to me about that.
To be honest with you, to say that, I'd rather take a small team is that was probably true back then, because I wanted it to be small. I wanted it to be a family. But what happens is when you create great leaders will then lead. And then now 50 Hills is 5 offices and 70 agents or so. So we're no longer small like it used to be. But I've learned that that's just what's going to happen when you do a great job and invest in your people.
But you started small, as opposed to, you see a lot of brokerages, they'll be their main aim is to just get as many brokers as they can, and there's no direction, and there's a lot of brokers that aren't producing. Whereas I suppose you've done it in a more strategic way, where you have started small and only grown as and when it saw fit.
Yeah, I guess the key word there is we grew organically, right? When it came to us, we didn't go out there and just, go and grab everybody, kind of like some of these other brokerages. So yes, in the beginning, it was stay small because, resources are more limited. Time is more limited, right? I can only pour into so many people. And so to do my leadership style in the beginning, you had to be limited. I couldn't be for the masses, right? And it was just, I don't think the goal was to get big. I think the goal was to have fun, have great people, and just make money, right? Simple as that. I can't say that, 5 years ago when we founded 50 Hills, it would be this. 5 years ago, my vision and plan was much different. It was to still just sell a lot of real estate, earn a great commission, buy rental properties, and be with like 4 or 5 guys killing it and loving what they do. that's it. That's honestly what it was. So I think I share that because a lot of people are like, oh, you're so ahead of it. You have this big master plan. And I'm like, no,
Mm,
not always,
mm,
I'm learning to do that now and dream bigger now, bigger than ever before. But years before, no,
I
just
love
have
that.
fun and make some money and take it one step at a time.
That's awesome. At what point then in the process did you realize that content would play a part in your ability to grow and achieve this success that you have?
I think content was always there. I have videos. I found my old camera from 10 years ago, right? It was a Sony and I found the memory card. And then I just remember talking of doing the market updates. On my old YouTube channel, I have videos that were like just doing house tours. They were shitty and low quality. But I always knew that one to many was going to be the way. And I guess a part of me always knew that the attention and the audience was the new currency, right? I mean, I kind of came up in a time when $1 million listing was like at its peak, right? When it was like the hottest thing. And you just see these stars business blow up. Well, why did it blow up? Because now hundreds of thousands of people know who they are and what they do. So I knew content was gonna be the way. I just didn't have the time and the money to hire people, and so, I mean, and you talked about technical difficulties earlier, right?
Mm.
Guy, my camera wasn't working right, it was lagging. I'm not technical, I don't know how to use Adobe Acrobat, I don't know how to use a camera, SO, I don't know, okay, guys? So, that held me back for a little bit, but at least when it comes to my iPhone, I can make it work, and so that's when I knew. I was like, dude, this is gonna be the biggest thing. And honestly, I'm gonna get ahead of myself here, but it is through our content that has allowed us to scale at the rate that we have been going. And a big part of it is that, yes, our customers, they love our marketing. Yes, our customers now know who we are and what we do, right? We're 50 Hills. That's like, who are they? Like, they're not Compass, they're not Coldwell Banker, they're not this big brand, but locally, people know who we are. And that's because we put out so much pieces of content. And then also from the growth side of things, when it came to growing 50 Hills, we were basically just showing the world who we are, how we operate, and this is our vibe, right? And your vibe will attract your tribe. And then that's really how people started knocking on our doors and saying, hey, I want to join 50 Hills. I want to join 50 Hills. And, that's kind of how we did it.
Yeah. I think anyone that hits your YouTube now and sees like the trailer video that you've got might think that, wow, that looks good. I mean, it's so well produced. You're such a natural on the camera as well. I mean, you could have been a hired actor. It's good stuff. But I think the important thing is what you said. If they go back and look at those first videos, it's just making that move and making a start, isn't it? You've got to put yourself out there. And what would you say then to brokerage owners that haven't dabbled in putting their face out there, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram? Like, do they need to be on social? If they're not, are they going to get left behind?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Because you always have to think about the next generation and where are they? Like the way that the brokerages were ran 10, even shorter than that, I was even like 7 years ago because I was part of somewhere else before then. Like you didn't need to. But now you think about it, who are the realtors? They're the 25. I mean, our realtors are young. They're like sometimes 21, 22, 23 years old. They're coming into the business. Where are they finding these new brokerages, right?
Mm,
They're finding it on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. So if you want to build realtors and groom realtors for the next generation, then you need to attract people from that generation to work at the brokerage. So yes, you need videos.
mm,
Now, I would even say, I'm such a big believer in video that I would say that you absolutely need it if you want to take it to the next level. But I also understand that some of these brokerages who have been in the business for 20, 30 years, they're just solely based on referrals and they're happy with that. Cool. But yes, to go from here to then here, get on social.
mm. And it,
And I get it. People always say like, I'm too old, I'm too ugly, I hate the way my voice sounds. Well, guess what? There's somebody for everyone,
mm,
right? My pieces of content will not appeal to everyone. And I'm not trying to, but there are somebody out there, your mom and dad realtor who, very old school, but people like that. And they will attract people that like that. And there's enough business to go around. I operate on the law of abundance. So
mhm.
ready to go around.
Okay, I love that. You're a big fan of building community as well. Workshops, meetups, events through paid ads as well. Um, So how does that fit into your business model? And what's like an event or a workshop or something that you do or you can recommend that really moves the needle?
I the reason we do events, and it was always because I knew that real life connections is how business gets done. Yes, people are buying things online more than ever. Yes, relationships are being built online, but there is nothing like in-person interaction,
Hmm.
right? And that's when I realized, like, okay, I think at the time when I started doing the events, I probably had a few thousand followers. It's nothing like it was today. I said, well, okay, this is cool, but like, how do I take this DM or direct message and turn it into a real life connection, right? And so I said, okay, well, what are we doing here? And then that's when I said, okay, I looked at all the questions that people were asking me, and they asked me about the flips. How'd you do it? How much did this cost? How did you find the deal? All the same question. It was like repetitive. Like I would answer the same question 20 times. And I was like, okay, this is a hot tub talk. So let's invite them to our flip that just finished. Don't expect crazy food. I think we bought Costco pizza and I rented chairs in a 1,500 square foot house. We packed like 30 people in there. And that's how it was born. And then we left that event just feeling so invigorated. So it was so much fun. And then people were then kind of sharing like, hey, I have another deal, or can I ask you about this one? Do you want to partner on this one? And I was like, aha,
Mm.
like, there you go. Real connections, real opportunities. And that's when the whole thing just like, okay, we're doubling down. We're going to continue to put out more content. We're going to continue to do bigger events. And then now we do one once a quarter. And I'm learning to curate a better experience. So now we sell it. It's always free, but now it's like, okay, hey, I get it. Now that there are 200 people in a room, you want a little bit more one-on-one time. So now we have VIP dinners. So, you pay for a ticket, but then all your food, all the alcohol is included. And then that limits the amount of people in that room so that we can have a deeper connection.
Nice. For the first one that you said, when you said we brought them down to the finished flip, was that the house that you'd sold? And then you brought them all into the house and ate pizza and sat down and talked to them.
Well, it was our house. So
Yeah.
I don't think at the time it was on the market yet. I think it was going to hit the market, but it was
Okay.
done.
Yeah.
We had to finish rehabbing the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. And then, yeah. And so that was like your first event, which was small. And now you've built it out to this, upgrade to VIP
Then I think the
tickets.
second event was like in the backyard of another project of ours that was like a mess. Like it was like messy as hell,
Yeah.
right? And people loved it. And we just kept doing it. And then eventually we outgrew our houses because, we're not selling mansions out here in the Bay Area. We're selling, 1,400 square foot homes. So you can only fit so many people.
Yeah.
And so that's when we started booking out venues and stuff like that.
And it sounds like you were able to like organically find your sort of foot in the door to an audience, which is from the flipping side of what you do. So that seems to have resonated the most with people. You identified that, and then that's what you've sort of built your content around. And then does that then also attract sort of what's the like the ICP of what you're attracting there? Is it people that are going to come and work for you as brokers? Is it like people that want to hire you to list their properties, or is it just a whole mix of people that want to like join your vibe?
So
And
in the beginning, it was more just, okay, we're going to build this flipping community, right? Like the flipping real estate, because then from there, I can JV deals, joint venture with people, right? They bring me deals. I'll help them. They become our lenders, right? So now we are able to raise private capital. Uh, and then I was like, okay, well, I'll also be able to connect with a lot of realtors that that ultimately have deals. And then it was all that. I'll be honest with you. So from those events, we have recruited agents because agents now want to learn how to flip properties. They want to be in an environment that is um like okay with not just selling real estate, but everything about real estate,
mm,
buying rental properties, flipping real estate, and then helping people buy and sell, right?
mm,
So we've attracted a ton of agents. A lot of our agents join 50 Hills through our events. A lot of the deals that I flip are within the community. So it's all of it, right?
mm.
Don't cap yourself. Now they say the riches are in the niches, but I mean, my thing was just let's have a great time and the business will come. I've always kind of been like that. And then I became a little bit more intentional with making sure that during the events, I'm reminding people, hey guys, if you want to work with me, here are the ways. But other than that, let's just have a great time. Let's network. I usually have a couple of guest speakers. I limit them at 8 minutes because I don't want it to be a long presentation. I
I
want it
like
to be
that.
more of a networking event. Oh God. Let me tell you this, Chris. I go to probably 4 or 5 seminars every single year. Some are great, some are boring. I try new ones, and then what I've learned is that, number 1, you have to make it a show, so it has to be entertaining, right? A lot of value, entertaining workshops or something like that, but if you just make it all about, like, somebody up there, 1 or 2 people, and they just yap for hours on end with no breaks, no jokes, nothing like that, you lose half the room, and people leave, like, bored. So we do for my thing, it's like no more than 3 to 4 speakers. They all get 8 minutes each. And then afterwards, like in between, I make people take shots. We get up and we walk or we do something. And then after that, it's all networking. Like, you want questions? Go talk to these guys, right? Hang out and then make it fun. That's
I
always
love
been my
that.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, man, I speak at events, and it's always hard to do. Anything more than 30 minutes is it's hard just to devise a presentation which you're going to hold the attention of a room for 30 minutes. I was at a conference recently where the guy had really honed it in and said he wanted to cap everybody's talk at like 20 minutes, which I thought was great. 8 minutes is genius, especially with shots in between. And the networking part of it is, everybody knows that's what the event's for, isn't it? Like, you got to get the speeches done and get networking. So yeah, I love that. Okay, let's talk lead gen for 50 Hills specifically. What is your biggest source of lead generation right now for 50 Hills? Let's say outside of the organic social stuff that you're doing. Like, are you doing paid ads? Do you have an SEO focus from Google, or do you have a specific strategy which just works and you're running with?
So for 50 Hills, we don't provide leads for our agents. That's never, like, you want leads, you can go to one of these Zillow Flex teams
Mm-hmm.
and make pennies on the dollar. I'd rather teach you the skills to go hunt and kill and get your business yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that way, if you want to leave my company or whatever, like, you can. I'm not here to hold anybody uh through handcuffs. So what we do, I would say, is we throw a lot of events. I'm a big event person. So we do, probably the company itself does 4 major ones a year, all free, massive. I mean, our Easter Easter egg party is probably 400 or 500 people in attendance. We usually do like 10 to 15,000 eggs, and it's just one big party. We do Halloween, and then we do a big holiday party at the end where, I mean, that's a smash hit. People talk about that for months on end. Like, ours are the best because we just keep the alcohol flowing, right? And we allow everyone to bring everyone. We don't care. It's not just for clients, it's not just for friends. It's for your friends, for whoever, right? Don't expect anything crazy. Don't expect the caviar or anything like that because it's a free event. But what you will get is great people, great time, lots of alcohol, some food, and just that networking again, like being able to shake hands and have fun with people. I realize that people want to do business with people that are, number 1, competent, but number 2, like, they just are genuinely good people to be around and a good fun energy, right? That's always been my model, and I think that's been allowing me to rub shoulders with some of the richest people and greatest clients. And so just keep it simple, right? But now, if you want to talk about what we do on the flipping side, I can get very technical with that because there's 2 different things. On the 50 Hills side, to ask me like, oh, what does our lead gen look like? We like to, number 1, a lot of our agents have been in the business for 5 to 10 years, so they already have their business. My thing is making sure they understand to keep top of mind so that they don't get picked and or left behind and get chosen by another agent, right? So that's one. And we can go into like some of the other stuff, but what I do to get leads on the flipping side, oh boy, yes, we do PPC, pay per click.
Okay.
We spend about $5,000 a month on Google and Bing to target, distress, notice of violations, pre-foreclosure, stuff like that. We also do direct mail, right? We
Okay.
spend about $5,000 on direct mail, and those are the things that come out, and it could be a handwritten note. We pay a service, so they do it all.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that work a lot are the checks. I
Okay.
don't know if you ever received them where it's like, hey, it looks like a real check, and it
Yeah.
says this will pay for your home. Those gets a lot of calls, and then those are like what we pay for. And then obviously the organic stuff, the organic social media, my network with realtors. I have an acquisition guy in the other room, and all he does is just contact realtors every single day to build relationships. He's probably one of the annoying guys that a lot of realtors hate, but hey,
Okay.
he brings in deals,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
And how do you see all of this evolving in the current landscape with AI, PPCs getting more expensive, the Facebook retargeting, and all of the all of the things with that. Do you foresee that this is just something this is going to change radically? Like, do you have plans to test new strategies, or is it just working now and you just see how it goes?
I don't think it's going to change. I do understand that. I mean, because that was something that I thought about for a while too, and I said, okay, well, Chat GPT is the new search engine. I
Mm-hmm.
don't go to Google to ask it questions anymore. But you have to understand that a lot of people, especially for the flipping category, that demographic is much older. They're not on um ChatGPT. And so I think for the foreseeable, like at least for now, I mean, the next year or 2 years, we should be pretty good.
Mm,
But for example, like I have friends that run TV ads, the 5 a.m., 6 a.m. slot, and they crush it. They do
mm,
very well.
yeah.
You know, I think it will always work until it doesn't, and then we'll figure out like what to do next. But right now, it's like for the last so many years, mail, TV ads, PPC, YouTube ads, right? Like, cause I kind of bunch YouTube ads with like PPC too,
Mm,
because you can run little banners. Like, I
and
think
it
they're going to be
works.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think you're 100% right as well. You need to know your audience. Like, we can be in a bit of a bubble. I mean, especially us as like, a digital PR marketing agency. We're living and breathing things like AI and ChatGPT, and you just assume that the whole planet is on it. But you speak to a grandparent or maybe someone between a parent and a grandparent, and yeah, my dad doesn't use AI, and he's pretty tech savvy, but he's not on it. He'll use Google, and he'll read his mail and he'll watch TV adverts. So it's really important to know your audience.
But I will say that AI will, I think I see the pro of it is that it will be able to analyze data way better than you and I could do it. Now, I'm not a tech, I don't like math. That's why, so I don't know how to analyze data, but AI will be able to do it and then allow me to then retarget a little bit more efficiently.
Mm,
Right?
yeah.
So it'll be like, "Hey, you've sent out 20,000 mails to these 5 counties, but all your deals came from this one county. So let's save your money on these other 9 and divert all funds to that one county."
Hmm.
Right? So I can see that being a very big good thing for us.
Are you doing that? Are you implementing that or
Trying to, yeah. So
trying
I
to?
I mean, I have, people trying to do it now. I'm gonna be honest with you. At this point, I've learned my strength, and it's not tech.
Yeah.
But I'm not opposing it, like, just because I don't understand it,
Mm,
I'm not opposing it, and I think this kinda relates to a part of me why I'm successful is that I don't oppose, I go hire somebody and say, "Hey, make it work and explain it to me like I'm a dummy."
okay. Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of hiring, the VA hub. Talk
Yes.
to me about that. What is that? Why did you start it? And how has that helped scale?
VA Hub is a virtual assistant agency. So rather than you going to Fiverr or one of these other places to look for a VA, you come to my company and we will source one for you.
Hmm.
Now, I would say they're more of an admin than anything else. Like, don't look at them as virtual assistant, because whenever you say virtual assistant, it usually means like they're trash. So we started the company because about 9 years ago, the company is approaching 9 years old. We were using a competitor and it was terrible. I had a terrible experience and they were very expensive. And I said, this just doesn't, it's just like this, there has to be a better way. And that's kind of been my thing. Like, there has to be a better way. And what ultimately happened was my brother and we ended up partnering with the Filipino out in the Philippines.
Mm,
And we kind of shared the vision. I said, look, we're going to fund this thing. Like, hire who you need. And this was actually the very first time in my life when I realized that I don't have to do everything.
mm,
But now we have a little bit of working capital to go and hire smart, talented people to go and run what you want to run and build the dream basically. And so we addressed the problems and we were saying, okay, well, what sucked about the last VA we hired? She barely knew any English, her grammar sucked, her internet never really worked, et cetera, et cetera. And we just started writing it out. Okay, this is the curriculum. And then what that ended up growing into is now more of a university than anything else. So my team not only will source them, but we typically run them through a 3-week training. Our modules, we test their computers. We make sure they have a backup generator. We make sure that they can pass proficient English. They know how to use all the Google suites and so on and so forth. They're proficient with AI, right? And so when you hire them, you're not stuck wasting a week, 2 weeks, or sometimes even a month, like getting them up to speed. You have a very talented individual. Most of them are college graduates of the Philippines, and we're also in Argentina, Chile, Mexico and stuff like that. So we can source different VAs, but the bulk of them are the Philippines.
hmm.
And so you're getting like basically like a college graduate for a fraction of the price. And like, I can really attest, like every company that I have, whether it be from the littlest, smallest ones, are my coffee shops have VAs. 50 Hills has a boatload of VAs. The VA hub is run basically, we have over 80 employees and they're all in the Philippines.
Mm.
There's nobody here in the States besides me and my brother.
Okay.
Right. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of what we do. And I realized like, look, you need people to build great companies. So I understand that not everybody can afford, like I have a team out here in the States, but their salaries are like ridiculous, right? I'm lucky enough to be able to afford it and pay them, but not everybody is. So hire out Philippines, Mexico, Argentina, wherever, so that you can have a team so you don't have to do everything. Like one of the things about being an agent is that we're always on. We're working 12, 14-hour days, right? And a lot of the work that we're doing, it's stupid. It's like you shouldn't even be doing it. But we do it anyways because who else is going to do it, right? We
Mm.
tag disclosures, we request for disclosures, we write offers, we call lenders for verifying all the information. Like all that stuff doesn't need to get done by us, right? And then that's how the idea was born.
And you have most of your agents in 50 Hills then utilizing okay, so that's great. And do they do that as soon as they come in, or do you have like a recommended sort of
I don't force anybody anything because what happens is I don't want them to feel like, oh, it's benefiting my company. I mean, they get major discounts where I don't even make anything, but it's like I don't want to just add bills on top of them. But I can only share with them like and show them how I'm doing things,
mm,
and then eventually they get it and they go,
yeah,
"Oh shit,
the
that's
benefits?
way
Yeah,
better." Yeah.
yeah. Okay, Brian, let's just talk about flipping as we're approaching the end of the podcast. It's your YouTube channel. For anyone that's listening, go and check out Brian's YouTube channel on the flipping stuff. It's so well done. He does an absolutely fantastic job on it. It's really entertaining. But talk to me about, I'm just interested in just flipping in general. So what types of homes, specifically, I suppose, in the Bay Area, still make financial sense to flip? Where are you seeing like the most success? And then personally, when do you decide to walk away from a deal that's close but not quite good enough? I'm interested in that as well.
Boy, okay, all right. Let's dissect it down. So the reason we started, let me go way back. The reason why I even started flipping, let me share this story. Was years ago I represented a flipper. And I remember at the closing table, I used to go to every single closing when they used to sign in escrow. This is before now, like everybody does it virtually or a mobile notary goes out, but they used to come in. And I remember looking down at the closing settlement statement and I say, damn, I made $25,000. Yippee. I mean, it's a lot of money. It still
Mm,
is. And then I see they made $250,000.
mm.
And I'm like, damn it, I did all the work. I did probably more work than they did.
Mm,
Right? And the guy didn't even speak any English, right? And I said, okay, this is cool, but I want to be over there, right? And that's when the idea was pretty much born because we're already doing it every single day. I mean, if you list properties, you're basically flipping properties.
mm,
You know, you're managing contractors, you're either remodeling a bathroom, you're painting, you're doing the roof or something like that. I mean, you know what you're supposed to do and you know what to fix to yield the highest ROI because you're a market expert, right? And so that's why we probably flip more than I do sell now. I don't sell a whole lot anymore, and I'll tell you why. I have two young children. At about when my son turned about 3, I looked at him and I said, "Look, this isn't going to work. I have to buy back my time a little bit more because you know, with being a realtor, you're on when your clients need you, which can
mm,
be 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. when they're off work, right?
mm,
Well, that's what time I read my, you know, I'm playing with my kids, playing Roblox now and all that stuff. So
mm,
I can't, like, this isn't going to work, right? So I said, okay, well, let's look at flipping. It's a different kind of work where I'm not actually swinging a hammer. The contractors are. So I can go and I check up on them maybe periodically once or twice a week, and the rest they handle. So I'm spending less time. Most of the time I'm making more than a realtor because we got to make sure we buy good deals.
mm,
And that leads me to my next thing. What properties work? I would say it's not so much about the property. It's about the deal that you can get. See, when it comes to flipping, the money is made on the buy, not the sell. I'm going to elaborate. What that means is if I buy a property with enough spread, if the market pulls back or, interest rates go up, I have margin and I can make money.
mm.
But if I buy a bad one where there's no margins, and I'm banking that the market's going to get better, there's nothing I can do, either cutting budget or making it even the nicest home on the block. I'm not going to make money, right? So it's not when you sell it, you make the money when you buy the property, like
Okay.
good properties.
Yeah.
We buy everything. I mean, this year alone, because through the community, I flipped property. So I'm in San Francisco.
Hmm.
I'm actually 20 minutes outside of San Francisco in a town called Millbrae. That's where my main office is, right by the airport. We flipped in Millbrae, San Jose, Oakland, San Francisco, Vallejo. I mean, like these are an hour and a half out because through the community, I have boots on the ground now. And if I can FaceTime somebody that I trust, I can flip a property anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
So,
And you so I suppose that goes into the second part of my question for that is how do you know when to walk away? And that's if you can't see the upside on that buy price, if you can't find that
yeah.
deal
So
in that buy.
let me give you my buy box then to make it very simple because if it doesn't fit this, 90% of the times I'll walk away. Sometimes I get greedy and the 10% of the times I will buy it and I'll gamble because sometimes you got to gamble a little bit. So I typically like projects that are finished and sold and I get paid within 6 months. That means I buy it. Let's call it 3 months of construction, 1 month of marketing, right? Like getting it ready for the market and staging and listing it, and 2 weeks on the market, 30-day of escrow, and then another 30 days for buffer. So I like to be done with a project. I don't like to do ground up construction. I don't want to do crazy additions because then now that project becomes a year, 18 months, right?
Mm.
6 months. And does it always happen in 6 months? 90% of the time it does. I also like I like to make at minimum 10% of the after repair value. So if that property sells for $1 million, I would like to make at least $100,000 net.
Mm-hmm.
Net. I mean, that's after commissions, closing costs, the whole shebang. Like that's what I put in my pocket pre-tax.
Mm-hmm.
You always got to do pre-tax. So that's my buy box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Pretty cosmetic. And that basically means if it's 6 months, it's usually pretty cosmetic. Like I might remove a wall or add a bathroom, but it's all within the envelope. It's never like I have to add 800 square feet. Now, if I do, I will take on those projects. I'm not saying I won't, but now it becomes, if it's over a year, I need to make at least 20 something, like I'd say
Yeah.
20% to 25%.
Okay.
So if it's $1 million property, I need to make $200,000. So that's my standard. Anything less than that, I just won't do it because it's just not worth my time. Like, why flip a property and only make $40,000 in 6 months? It's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are exceptions. There are exceptions where if I don't have to do much to a home, for example, if I just have to paint it and stage it, there has been times when that's all I had to do. I'm okay with making a little shy of 10%. It almost bit me in the ass on this last project I had. I was supposed to make 100,000. I ended up making like 3.
Well, you
It
can't.
means
You can't.
money,
Yeah.
but it was, I drove out there 2-3 times. I'm like, oh God, I made $3,000. It's like my gas was more than this.
Yeah. You can't win them all.
Yeah.
Brian, I got one final question. This has been absolutely fascinating. I'm sure our audience would have loved this. You mentioned earlier that agents, they're already built for this stuff. Do you think that top producing agents that aren't flipping properties are mental? Do you think they're just missing an opportunity which they're built for? Or do you think there has to be an element of like personality and wanting it, and like, what's your view on that?
I think that they are mental.
Yeah.
They should.
Okay.
Why not? You're already doing it, right? Top producers actually have a lot of free time. Let's face it here, because they have assistants. They already have a team built out, right? They're mental because that's extra money that you could be doing. I mean, you're probably talking to sellers. I mean, I've met so many sellers where they're like, Brian, I don't want to list the property. I'm like, you sure? You will make an extra $100,000 if you list the freaking property. They go, Brian, I don't care. I don't want to spend 6 months and do all that work and put out another $120,000 to make 100. Like,
Mm.
Brian, I'm done. I'm moving to Texas anyways.
Mm.
And so what do we do as realtors? We go, all right, let me go put it on the market. Okay, let me go put it on the market so I can make a 2.5% commission. When instead you should be like, okay, well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, like, if that's the case, can I offer you this? I'll even give you a discount. I won't take my commission, right? We can save on the buy side commission. So we'll put an extra 25,000 or whatever in your pocket, and then I'll buy it,
Mm.
right? It's not unethical because they, like, as long as you don't sway them into saying, hey, sell it to me, but you really do your job. And I've done this in the past. I'm like, option A, you sell it as is. Option B, we put $50,000 in and you get this. Option C, we go all out and you'll get this. Which one would you like to do, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? And they go, I want it done.
Mm.
Like, I need that money now. I've already
Mm.
spent the money. I need it. Perfect. Now you get it and you flip it. And now, you get to list it. You still get the market share, but now what happens? You get all the upside.
Mm. And they're happy
Right?
as well because that's what they wanted.
Yeah. And if you're
Yeah.
a new agent, you should do the same damn thing because now you need the money. You
Mm.
definitely need the money. Right? And if you're a middle tier, you always need the money, and I think top producers, and I'm glad you brought up a top producer because they always think like, I have no time. What's the point? I'm already making $1 million a year in commission. I'm like, what, $1.3 million or $1.2 million is not going to make a difference in your life? Like it will, right? It would.
Hell yeah. I love it. Brian, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for giving up your time to come on the show. If people want to track you down, where can they find you? Where's the best place for them to reach out?
Yeah, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, Mr. Brian Tran, MrBrianTran. So you can find me on there, and I'm very active on Instagram. So if you DM me, I'll reach out. I'm active everywhere, but the DM function on Instagram is probably the best. TikTok, it's complicated to go.
It's a mess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day and take care.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Chris.